Today is Tuesday. It is the 12th of the month of January.
Woo.
The 12th already. And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
2016, the 12th of January. Moving
Somehow.
along very quickly.
It sure is.
I am telling you. Let's see. Now, yesterday, I'm going to start early on the birthdays today.
Start early.
Yesterday, I got started all late on them and everything, okay? Birthdays today include Kirstie Alley.
Yes.
Yes. She was born this day, 1951, which makes her 49, 59, 64 today.
She's a funny lady.
She is very funny, and she has had several issues with weight, and she has been a spokesperson for some of the weight loss companies, and she's back down again.
Is she?
Oh, she's looking good. Oh,
She is one that goes up and down a lot, and I don't care what size she is beautiful.
I was just going to say that.
She's beautiful.
She is so funny, and she just, whatever comes up, comes out.
Yeah,
She certainly speaks her mind.
That's right.
But she is funny, and
She
she
is
is a
very
beautiful
funny.
woman. That she is. Kirstie Alley. Cheers, Look Who's Talking, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Oliver Platt is 60 today. If you didn't know who he was, you'd know him if you saw him. He was on Fargo. He played Stavros. He was on The West Wing. He was Dr. Charles on Chicago PD and on Chicago Med. Dr. Charles. He is having a birthday today. He is 55. Olivier Martinez on Revenge and Texas Rising. He's having a birthday. So is Nava Rivera. She is Santana on Glee, and Blanca Alvarez on Devious Maids, whatever that is.
So glad you're announcing those. I don't know that I could have pronounced them.
Well, sure you could. Sure.
Is it trivia time?
It is. Let's take a look at our trivia question for today. The trivia question category is the moon. To the moon, Alice. No, it is the moon. And okay. Interesting. Well, this is not a difficult question if you're into this sort of thing. Who was the first human to step foot on the moon?
Very good.
Okay, not a hard question.
Yeah.
Some of these will be difficult, but this is not necessarily a difficult question. But you got to think back. You got to think back to July 20th, 1969. All right? Who was the first human? And I stress human because somebody else may have been there who may not have been human. You know what I mean, Vern?
Oh, we're not even going there. My husband watches those like
Does he?
sci-fi, what
Does he
if, this, and I can't stand
Was he
it.
an X-Files fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just can't do
All right,
that.
today's the 12th. It's National Pharmacist Day.
Ah.
Find a pharmacist and hug him and place an order. There you go.
And place an order.
National Pharmacist Day. It's also, oh no, I don't even know if I want to read that one. It is the Feast of Fabulous Wild Men Day. And now they're most often found in Borneo, but that's okay. There's probably one or two that escaped. Okay.
Wow.
Okay,
wow.
I know. Okay, what else do we have?
Wait. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I've got all kinds
You've got
of
all
stuff.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. So I had the opportunity
hoping you
last
would.
week
Yeah.
to go to Raleigh to the North Carolina Chamber. They do an annual economic forecast.
Yeah,
Okay?
right.
And Mayor Chuck Allen and I head off. We went to Raleigh, spent about 2 hours for this luncheon, and got to hear from a world-renowned economist who, talked about the trends that are going on. He went back to the former Bush administration and Clinton and kind of showed, okay, here's where our economy has gone, here's how government's grown.
Oh,
if we had just stayed with inflation, this is what we may look like. He kind of gave that, a parallel discussion about,
Right.
Here's where we are, and that not everything is bad, okay? You turn on any news show and everything is just doom and gloom.
Well, that's the mainstream media doing that.
Well,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And, now when anything fluctuates in the stock market, which is what it's supposed to do, it is the market.
Yes.
He was talking about how we all kind of have this post-traumatic stress disorder from the 2008
Yes.
when the economy just tanked. So we're
Yes.
all so fearful. And so he talked a lot about that. He was a wonderful speaker. And we got to hear from Governor McCrory that day as well. So I'll leave you. I know we've got to take a break, but I'd like to share a couple of other things that happened, at a later time, some discussions that took place about the forecast for North Carolina and what's on the horizon. And it happened that we went to that meeting, and the day prior, Senator Richard Burr was in Goldsboro and spent some time in a small meeting, and then went to the Goldsboro Rotary Club. And it was just really neat within a 24-hour period of time, hearing different perspectives. And you know, there's a lot of movement going on. There's a lot at stake for our country and certainly in our state. But we've got some good leadership.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
I love this. And if we have time, and we'll make time in the next
Sure,
segment for this, if we can talk about it in the next
Let's do
segment,
it.
after our interview, when we come back, we'll be talking and hearing from Kate about what this economist, of course it wasn't Milt Friedman, he's dead, but I'd love to have heard from him as well. But anyway, we'll hear from this in the next segment. Okay, that and the trivia question and birthdays coming up.
Great.
Today we're at the Cooperative Extension Service on West Chestnut Street in Goldsboro, and we're here in the office of Jessica Strickland, who is the horticulture agent. We're talking, what are we talking? We're talking bees, aren't we?
Yes, one of our programs that we have started, got started last week, is our annual bee school. We work with our local bee club, Beekeepers of the News, and they hold an annual bee school every year for people that want to become beekeepers, or even somebody that's interested in honeybees. So we've gotten started. Our class is running about 25 people or so, and they start out just kind of learning the basics, and we're going to get into the class. The school goes for 5 sessions, so it'll go into February. Every Saturday, 9 to noon. And so this coming week, they're going to learn more about honeybees, the anatomy, how the colony works together, that you got one queen, you have several workers, and so forth.
Now, we had our first class last Saturday, and the classes will continue as a total of 5.
There is.
And so it's not too late for somebody to kind of come in right now and join.
No, still, usually after the second session, then you've probably missed too much for it to be of a benefit. So if somebody's interested, they can still join for this Saturday, January 16th. The cost is $50 per individual or $75 per couple. The couples or family shares a book and notebook to cut down on their cost.
Okay, now we all know that if we have lunch or breakfast or dinner, we need to thank a farmer. But we also need to thank the bees, right?
That's right.
Why is that?
A lot of your fruits and vegetables wouldn't exist if it wasn't for honeybees helping pollinate those crops, especially talk about apples, almonds. Some of those types of plants depend completely on a honeybee to pollinate.
So if we didn't have the honeybees, we wouldn't have these delicious vegetables and plants and flowers.
Especially in our area, we are growers that grow cucumbers, watermelons. They look to put hives in their field to help with pollination.
In fact, I happen to know that there's actually a major industry across the country where bee trucks loaded 18-wheelers full of beehives will travel from farm to farm and loan out their bees.
They will. There's larger industries and businesses that will do that. In Wayne County, we have a lot of small beekeepers, but a lot of them are very willing to work with a farmer and to put their beehives out there, because it benefits the beekeeper too, in that it's supplying, so they have their honey supply with their hives. So they're very willing to move their hives and work with other groups.
And bees are very important.
They are, yes.
Perhaps we can get somebody from News Beekeepers to talk to us in the future now. All right, that's the bee school.
Yes.
And we have one of these every year, is that right?
We do. We do it every year, January into the 1st of February. The reason we do that is getting them ready so they can start their hive for this year. Okay. So it's building up, so that way the idea is when you finish the school, you still work with another beekeeper and to get your hives ready and can get started this year. Okay. So, yeah.
I had the hives once. Okay, we're going to move on to whatever's next.
Yes.
What is next?
Wanted to tell about a workshop that we started advertising this week. We're going to have a pecan workshop. We're doing a regional workshop where we're working with Wayne Duplin, Sampson to hold this workshop in Mount Olive. And we're going to have a specialist from NC State that specializes in pecans, and he's going to cover everything from planting to harvesting for pecans. And it's not just for large growers, homeowners. We have a lot of people that have just a few trees in their backyard or their gardens, but they want to know how to better take care of them, because they collect the pecans and get them cracked and either sell them or have them for cooking and so forth. So a lot of people enjoy having pecan trees, but there are some issues we run into with pecan weevil, scab and so forth, and that's going to be addressed at this workshop also.
Yeah, and you thought Jimmy cracked corn. He also cracks pecans, right?
There you go.
And we're still trying to figure out why he cracked corn. So anyway, okay. So when is that?
It's going to be Tuesday, January 19th. It's going to be 6 to 8, so it's Tuesday evening. And it's going to be at the University of Mount Olive. It's going to be in the Hennessy Room, which is adjacent to the cafeteria and the Lois Murphy Regional Center.
Right.
And it's a free workshop. All we ask is people call our office to register so we can get a number how many is going to attend.
That's a free workshop.
It is.
Wow.
Yes. So and usually taking advantage of a specialist being here is going to really be a benefit to the
All right,
workshop.
now, I know you're a horticulture expert, and you cover a lot of different areas. And perhaps I'm asking the wrong question here, but how long does it take until you plant a pecan tree until fruition, if you will?
I'm not sure right off exact years, but it does take several years. So it's one of those. It's an investment. It's going to take anywhere, I would say 6 to 10 years maybe before you start getting some pecans. Getting a lot.
So when you're out there picking up pecans, you know that tree's been there a while.
That's right. Yeah, and a lot of people do on their property have older trees that have been there for a long time. So yeah, if you're just getting started, it's one of those you have to consider an investment and give it some years to build up.
One more time, give us a date on the pecan thing.
Tuesday, January 19th, and it's 6 to 8 p.m. At the Hennessy Room at University of Mount Olive.
Okay, excellent. Jessica Strickland with the Cooperative Extension Service. What else do we have?
One more thing we've got is we're all working together in our office, working with the Paramount Theater. We're going to have a viewing of a movie called Farmland, and that's going to be Tuesday, January 26th. At 7 p.m.
It's a movie.
It is. It's a movie. It's a documentary that follows 6 young farmers, and the farmers vary as far as organic to conventional, field crops, livestock, fruits and vegetables. But it's a really good film. We're excited to show it because it really tells from the farmer's perspective their challenges, their struggles, and a lot of people are looking at agriculture, asking questions about pesticides, GMOs, animal welfare, and so forth. And they do talk about that and from their standpoint and their view. So it's not getting into what's right or wrong, but it's just telling more from the farmer's side as far as they're trying to make a living. And and they have families and they're just like everybody else and trying to do their job. And but it's several of us have seen it and even once or twice and really think a lot of the movie.
So it answers the question, where does a loaf of bread come from, right? It doesn't come from Food Lion. That's where you get it.
That's right. And a lot of people, and then they talk about that there's not a lot of young farmers, and that is going to be an issue later as to how do we have people that's going to provide our food.
And farmland is getting smaller.
It is. It's getting smaller. There's less land to work with, and we've got to find ways to still be able to produce enough food for the population.
And you mentioned genetically modified. It covers that as well.
Yeah, they talk about just because some of them are conventional farmers. There's some in there that's organic and they don't use GMOs, and they just talk about the reasons why they do or they don't, and so forth, and the pluses and minuses as far as why they use them or not use them.
Very interesting topic, and of course, with Wayne County being an agriculture mecca, if you will, when does this should be of interest to everyone here?
We really do want to encourage the general public, not only our agriculture and our farming community to come out, but we want everybody because it's really just gives exposure to what we're surrounded by, like you said, in Wayne County with our farming community.
Yeah. Unless you eat paper, then you have an interest in this. Okay, if you eat food, then this is interesting.
Yeah, and you're right. Everybody has to eat, and and more, and people are interested in where does their food come from, and so forth. And learning from the farmer's perspective what they have to go through, why they do what they do, really helps give some insight.
All right. And when is this again?
It's Tuesday, January 26th. It's at 7 p.m. at the Paramount Theater, and it's a free admission.
Free admission?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I love free.
Yes.
Yay.
So, yeah, we wanted to make it free and available so everybody could attend.
And the movie's called Farmland.
Farmland.
All right. Okay, do we have anything else, or do we save the best for later? Or save the more for later?
Just with our Master Gardeners, we're working on having their achievement banquet next week. We're kind of wrapping up their hours and their years or for last year, and and celebrating what they accomplished last year, and then next month or so, then start getting going for this year.
They're about ready to get going then.
They are. They've actually already started. They're looking at making their plant sale in April bigger and better. So there are already a lot of things in the works for this year. So we're excited for the upcoming year.
Trying to remember that number. Is it 731-1411?
14. Oh goodness! Now you asked me.
Okay, never mind.
I can look very quickly.
Oh no! What is it?
1433.
That's what I was going to say.
I said it in a few months.
Well, I haven't said it in a couple of years, but
Yes,
anyway.
and the plant clinic will do that again. It'll be running April to August.
April to August.
Yes.
It is almost time to start that.
It is.
up,
It won't be long. And that's right. So.
Wow. Well, I'm all excited about this. Jessica, you got a lot going on.
Yes.
We want to mention, too, as well, to keep listening and keep watching because we're going to be running, what do you want to call these?
Videos and looking at putting together some instructional videos.
Instructional videos.
As far as like pruning a grapevine or planting a tree, those types of things.
Yeah, we're going to be doing those. I'm all excited about those. There'll be several of them we'll be doing, kind of a how-to series.
Yes,
will, right?
that's right. Yeah, so it'd be really great to have a visual that somebody can look at.
Okay, well, those will be coming up. So what's your phone number?
Phone number for our office is 919-731-1520.
919-731-1520. We've been talking with Jessica Strickland, who is the horticulture agent for Wayne County, and I thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And again, we welcome Sergeant Paige Learnard, Coordinator for Crime Stoppers, to the studio, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Great. Okay, we have a robbery to talk about, don't we?
We do.
All right, what's going on? We have pictures running behind us here, by the way.
Yeah,
what's
we
going on?
we actually have some good pictures, so I feel confident somebody out there will see these pictures and will help us identify this suspect. But on December 10th at about 8:15, we had a individual go into the Family Dollar, which is at 1403 Wayne Memorial Drive here in
Right.
town in Goldsboro. He had a knife and he robbed the store and the employees of some currency and some toothpaste, which is an unusual combination, but he did present a knife, and
We
we're
have some
hoping
pictures here. We're going to
Yeah.
put those up there.
we have some good surveillance photos, and we're hoping that the public's going to take a look
There he
at
is.
these. This is a black male. He's approximately 5'9", slender build. He was wearing a white T-shirt and a black hoodie. And again, I said, he stole some currency. We were fortunate to have the Wayne County Sheriff's Department actually aided the Goldsboro Police Department this night with their canine unit to assist in some tracking.
Right.
Unfortunately, we did not catch the suspect this night on December 10th, but we are hoping that somebody out there is taking a look at this and is going to give us a call, give us an idea who this may be, and help us solve this case.
This has been about 3 weeks ago when this
That's
happened.
right.
and,
This was December the 10th.
looking at the pictures, you see a pretty clear picture of his face
That's
there.
right.
Even though the black hoodie is covering his head,
Yeah.
you see him, you can get a good look at him. And December 10th is a while back, and he
Right.
stole items and currency.
Right.
Now, if someone recognizes this guy and they want to call, but they're afraid of being put in a position to testify, they're afraid of people knowing and finding out who they are, what happens here? What are we talking about?
Well, it's a simple process. I say this each time. All they have to do is call the Crime Stoppers phone. It's that 735-225 number, or they can text that phone, which is that 222-4230 number.
Right.
It's blocked so that I can't see their name or their number. At any time, I'm never going to ask for their name or their number.
Okay.
They can give us the information if they're more comfortable calling or if they're more comfortable texting. If it's their information that leads to the arrest, then they're eligible for a cash reward. This is obviously a felony case. What they'll do is check back in with me, and if in the future, if we do make an arrest, then they'll meet up with me. I'll give them a cash reward. They'll never have to sign anything. They do not have to produce their ID. We'll set up a code name. I'll give them a cash reward, and that is the end of the exchange that we have. So it's a simple process.
The evidence speaks for itself.
Right.
The evidence is evidence.
Right.
And if someone calls in a tip, you don't have to know who they are. You don't want to know who they are.
Right.
It protects them. It protects you as well.
That's right. That's the whole purpose of having the anonymity.
Right. Now you see the phone numbers scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. The number 919-735-2255. or 919-222-4230. That's the text number.
Right.
You can text, and your phone blocks the names and all that. You don't have any idea who these people
That's
are.
right. Yeah. I sometimes I like to try to remind the public. Sometimes they'll, out of habit, leave me their name or number, and I try to remind people, you know, try not to leave me your name or your phone number. You know, it's our practice not to call you back. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know your number. Hopefully I'm at a spot that I can answer your phone call and I'm not on the other line, because that means I can't identify you. So I don't want you to leave me those contact information.
Now you answer the phone.
Right.
You answer 735-2255.
That's right.
And an identifier does not pop up on your screen.
Right.
And once you answer the phone, then they can talk to you about the tip.
That's
and
right.
you can set up a code name. Now, if you can't answer the phone, they should hang up and try later.
They can hang up. Now, they can leave me a message because people leave me messages often.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people want to just leave a message, and I will still take that information and I'll provide it to the appropriate agency if that's all they want to do. And they can leave their code name and set up a code name and say, hey, this is my code name, and this is what I'm going to go by. And then they can call back and check in with me.
Okay.
So if it's a time that they miss me, that's okay. That happens often too. They just need to call back again. They just need to, it is one line, so sometimes I might be at the courthouse, I might be here at Channel 10 doing something, I might be away from the phone, so they can certainly call back.
Okay. Sergeant Paige Learnard of Crime Stoppers. Again, the number 919-735-2255 or 919-222-4230. And I appreciate your coming in. Let's see if we can get this guy off the street.
We appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being there. Today is Tuesday the 12th. Here's the answer to the trivia question, which many of you already know, but somebody may not. And here's the answer. The man's name was Neil Armstrong, the first human to step foot on the moon, July 20th, 1969. I remember it well. I mean, I know, well, I remember it well. I was there.
And when you think about it, it really wasn't that long ago.
When you
That
think
was
about it, you're right.
not that long
It was
ago.
Not that long ago. It was 63 years after the Wright brothers flew, and 1969 was 46 years ago.
That is wild.
46
That's
years ago.
wild.
And look at everything we've done since then.
You know, back to earlier, we were talking about that North Carolina Economic Forum,
Yes.
the economists that spoke, and I'm not going to have the exact numbers, but I don't remember what year ago. It was not that long ago when they would sell 1 gigabyte of data. What's a cell phone? Like 64 gigabytes,
Yeah,
something crazy.
yeah.
1 gigabyte, $40,000.
That's right.
So,
That's
you know,
right.
these cell phones, essentially, not that long ago, is a $3 million piece of equipment.
That's right.
I mean, that's wild.
It is wild.
Think about
Yeah.
that. Think about how far we've come. And
Unreal.
he did talk about China, because, you know, everybody's talking about China and it's growing by leaps and bounds and all this. And he's like, you want to know how you grow by leaps and bounds and you've got this unprecedented growth? And everybody's on the edge of their seats.
I'm
He
not
goes,
the person to ask.
don't do anything for 1,000 years. But it is
That's
kind of,
right.
I mean, if you
That's
really
right.
think about it, it was
That's
just a
right.
very powerful discussion, but that really did sum it.
He's
It did
right.
sum it up.
You don't do anything, and then all of a sudden, boom, you
Boom,
take
boom,
off.
all of
Yeah.
a sudden you take off.
Yeah.
And you know, he said China is taking up an apartment in everybody's brains right now, and the apartment is empty. Not your brain, but the apartment space. You know, it's,
Yeah, that's
it is
true.
wild how fixated, and I think the news media is you know, really, it's, you sometimes have to take a step back, maybe
Sure
it's
you
a
do.
good way to say it.
And the Chinese government, whom I distrust greatly. I love the Chinese people, but the
Yeah.
government, look out. They recently realized the mistake they made in telling all of their citizens not to have but one child. That was a big mistake for China. It was not a bad mistake for us, but it was for China. Now they've decided, well, go ahead and have another one. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
The government tells you it's okay.
Yeah. But this is good, though.
It was good, and you know, we've all read and heard that North Carolina is growing rapidly.
Over 10
and by
million.
2030, by 2030, it's not that long away. We are expected by the U.S. Census to be the 9th most populous state in the country. Now, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. But we've got an infrastructure problem, big time,
Yeah.
big time. just when we were coming back from Raleigh and got on 40, I don't know if those of you that have watched have traveled in any kind of recent years on 40, it is horrendous.
Yes, it is.
So, we've got some major infrastructure problems going on. So stay tuned. In March, there's a lot of discussion about a NC Connects bond that will be on the ballot. My approach to any kind of a vote, anything anything like this, do your homework, understand what it's for, understand what it means. In that bond package, it does address infrastructure, community college system, UNC college system. So do your homework on it. And I think it would be really neat if we could do maybe a segment on it sometime leading up to it. Just to not share opinions, just share the facts, so that you can then make your best educated decision on that issue.
Interstate 40 is amazing. I remember just a few years ago when it stopped in Raleigh. It came all the way to Raleigh and stopped right there at Wade Avenue. You had to get off if you wanted to go anywhere east of that point. And that was in 1978, I believe. 78, 79, maybe somewhere in that time frame, which again was not that long ago. And all of a sudden it's just boom. It's just, it's outdated.
And it's wild because the decisions that are being made with things like that, they're made 10 years prior. This didn't happen overnight. All of this happened. It was years and years of planning. So we'll have the little shameless plug, the North Carolina Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Tennyson, will be in Goldsboro in February. And that'll be great for the business community and for citizens to come out and hear the plans in North Carolina and certainly in Wayne County. And we are fortunate with our local leadership, city and county, that they are on top of this. They're concerned about it. They're talking about issues. They're pushing good things forward. So, well, thank you for that.
That is a fact. Very good. Okay, as we're beginning to close out the program now, I want to mention a couple more things here very quickly. Latter part of the week, we will have words. We're going to talk about words. Wayne State University throws out a list every year of words that they want you to either start using or words that have been forgotten about. And that's what we're going to talk about in the latter part of the week. Today, I did not mention, is also a couple of special days. National Poetry at Work Day. It's always the second Tuesday of this month. It's National Poetry at Work.
Did you write me a poem?
I'm still working on it. It's not quite ready. It's just so, Anyway, it's also, and I didn't know this, is Kiss a Ginger Day.
Like a redhead?
Yes. How did you know that? Kiss a Ginger Day. I guess. That's what it means. Find a redhead and kiss that person.
Or a ginger cookie, a ginger snap.
Now
we should probably go with that. Unless you are married or dating a redhead, let's stick with the cookie.
We'll stick with a cookie. Go kiss a cookie. Okay, how's that? Unless your wife's or your spouse's name is Cookie.
Yes.
We'll do this again tomorrow.
Maybe if they'll let us.
We'll use a lot of different words, though. I promise. We're not going to say the same thing. Is that okay?
That's good.
Okay. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. Hope you're where you are right now, because we'll be right here where we are right now. And until then, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Bean.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.